Alrighty, hello everyone, it's Silver Kyle, and I need to talk about the Nintendo Direct that just happened today, November 12th, 2015. Originally, as I was going through this, I was like, it's kind of mediocre, don't really care about it. But then as it ended, it was just freaking awesome. There are so many RPGs coming out in 2016 for the 3DS, it's ridiculous. I showed my girlfriend right after because she really loves RPGs. That's her favorite genre. And she's like, okay, I want that. I want that. I want that. She's freaking out. And she's like, okay, she has an original 3DS. And she's like, I'm going to have to get the new 3DS XL to, enjoy all of this RPG madness. And I can't wait either. I'm just as excited. I don't know who's more excited at this point. But anyway, I wrote down everything in chronological order for the big things that I do want to talk about. And at the end is basically when all the just crazy stuff. If you like RPGs, you have a 3DS, oh, man, next year is going to be freaking awesome. Okay, so they started this off with Zelda Twilight Princess HD, which has been rumored before. It is official now, coming out March 3rd, 2016. I kind of like this and kind of don't like this. One of them that does make sense is that next year is the 30th anniversary of Zelda and the 10th anniversary of Twilight Princess. Crazy that it's been 10 years already. So that to me makes sense. However, there's so many games are just being remade all the time. And I do understand that it's very easy to remake a game from that era because you're just clearing it up a little bit, making it HD. You're not overhauling a complete system. So I understand that. It's just, man, Zelda games lately, they're kind of getting worse than Call of Duty and Assassin's Creed. As much as flack as those games get, they only release one new game, usually. Assassin's Creed, I mean, they made Rogue that one time. But anyway, usually it's just one new game, whereas like Zelda, it's just like Hyrule Warriors, Zelda, Triforce Heroes. There's like 3DS, the Wii U, the remakes. There's a lot of Zelda games that come out constantly, and it's kind of becoming like Mario, as in like they just keep milking it. And I don't like saying that because usually I'm really in agreement with what they're making, but it's just a lot coming out from Zelda, considering we just got Triforce Heroes now. And we're getting Zelda Wii U next year as well. So we're getting the Twilight Princess HD remake, the new Wii U game, which they showed like 3 seconds of, and I wanted to see more. But anyway, Twilight Princess, I am looking forward to it. They actually are coming out with an amiibo with it for Wolf Link, which I'm not really a fan of, but it's coming in a nice bundle. And honestly, just the extra box for something, to me, screams like special edition, even though it isn't. And that's usually all I really care about. Like, you add something like this, for example, and I'm happy. But if it's bigger like that, which just came with an extra controller. But anyway, with an amiibo, I kind of want it. So I'm pretty sure that that's the edition that I'm going to get. Anyway, then they talked about Zelda Triforce Heroes, which is just released. And they have a new update coming out on December 2nd for free, which is just awesome. I love that Nintendo is constantly doing this, like free DLC. It's like, you bought this game, we're going to later on release new stuff for it. Splatoon, I guess, was a little bit different because they held stuff back, but they do have another thing for that as well. But the Den of Trials is like a bunch of new missions, so it looks like this game is going to be even longer than it originally is. I haven't played it yet. I'm actually just going to be playing it for the first time as soon as I'm done recording. With my girlfriend and Kevin from Team Beardage. I'm really looking forward to it. Next up, they talked about... there was a bunch of Pokemon games, and I'm just going to throw them all together. There's a Mystery Dungeon game, some kind of fighting game, and a puzzle game. I don't really care about any of them except for maybe the fighting game. Mystery Dungeon kind of looks interesting too, but it just... Everything from here screamed eShop, and I don't really care for the eShop. I mean, if there's a physical release for the fighting game... I probably wouldn't get it anyway, but it's coming from the guys that created the Tekken games as well. So I think it's like I can't even remember what it's called, but it's a fighting game. I mean, if you're really into Pokemon, this is awesome, but that's a lot of Pokemon. Once again, talking about that thing where they release everything. Then they talked about the Splatoon update. There's a bunch of new items and stuff, but the cool thing was one of the maps, which is like a water map, that you're shooting, and then Splatoon's crazy fast. It's 3 minutes, and at the end of the level, they're gonna pop up like these other platforms for you to shoot. So they said you really won't know who's gonna win until the very end, because you'll be shooting like half the map, and then all of a sudden at the last minute or 30 seconds, I don't know when it's gonna show up, but the other platforms will show up that won't have any paint on them, and that's how you determine who wins in the games. Whoever has the most paint covered on an area. So that looks pretty darn interesting. I'm really looking forward to that, and it just makes me want to play Splatoon again. Like, it's just a constant cycle of going back and forth to Splatoon, which is really surprising that Nintendo was able to do this. I love Splatoon. I just gotta throw that out there. Splatoon love. Next up, they talked about Animal Crossing the Amiibo Festival, which I still really don't know what it is. Originally I thought it was like a party game, but they have like other things where it wasn't really party, and it was like they were gathering stuff. I really don't know what was going on, but parts of it looked interesting. Other than the party stuff of it, which I don't. Sometimes I like it, sometimes I don't. Like mini games, they're okay, but I don't know. I really don't know how I feel about this game. I don't really care for the amiibo editions. I like amiibos to collect them, not really for what they're used in games for. And when I see that they're integrating this, I'm like, don't do that. Just let me collect figures is what I want. There is going to be one amiibo figure I assume that they're going to make. I'm hoping that they're going to make later on that I will really want if they end up making it. I'll get to that at the end. Next up, they had Mario Tennis Ultra Smash. Mario Tennis, like, generally they're good games, but I'm just really not caring for it right now. Down the line, maybe, but I will not. I don't want to pay full retail price for that at all. Then they showed Xenoblade Chronicles. Looks awesome, and I just read recently that it is a bigger world than Skyrim and Fallout. Like, this world is going to be huge. It is, like, it's going to be intimidating to get into that game. And I still have not started Xenoblade Chronicles. I have my excuses, though. I want to do a video game night, and my MacBook conked out. So I'm using just like a regular laptop, which I don't have any editing software on. I'm going to have to get Sony Vegas probably. But I haven't gotten it yet. So that's my reason for not starting Xenoblade Chronicles. And then X is coming up in like a few weeks. Anyway. Then they showed a bunch of Nintendo indies, which I think they called Nintindi. I don't even know what they call them. It was a cool name, but like, I really didn't care for anything that they showed. Other than, I don't know if they showed it at this point or later on in the conference, but they showed, or Nintendo Direct, not conference. They showed I can't remember what it's called, but the game that is coming out for Wii U that looks like F-Zero. That game looks amazing, and I think it comes out in December. And I cannot wait for that game. That game, it's basically F-Zero without calling it F-Zero. Looks freaking awesome. Goodness, I couldn't believe how good that game looks. And it's just a download. So I wish they had a physical copy, but they don't. Next up, they showed the Wii U bundle that comes with Super Smash Bros. And Splatoon. And I thought, and they said that if you're interested in this, they also had like 3DS XLs as well. But if you want that specific bundle, looked forward to it on Boxing Day, so I'm assuming that they're going to have a really good sale on Boxing Day for this bundle specifically. And Super Smash Bros. And Splatoon, you're already starting off really well for the Wii U. I'm really hoping that the Wii U kind of succeeds. I don't think they're going to, because the PS4 is just dominating everything. That's for another video, but I really hope that this does well and that they put it on a good price point. Next up, they showed Star Fox Zero. The cinematics look freaking awesome. And the music, and I was just like, oh, that looks so awesome. And then they started showing some of the gameplay, and I'm like, this game's gonna suck. I really don't like the dual screen. Having to play with, watching where your plane is going, your airship, and then also using the Wii U gamepad. I know that this is something that they've been wanting to use for the longest time, is you actually use the gamepad, but they haven't in the longest time. So just drop it. It's dead. It's done. Just focus on regular games and figure out other ways to use the gamepad. I think this is one of the dumbest ideas. I do want to pick up the game. I do have it on pre-order because I'm getting like 30% off because they had an E3 deal on Amazon. Anyway, so I'm paying less than retail price. I think I'm going to get it for $50 instead of like $70 here in Canada. And that includes tax. So I do want to try it out, but I'm so... I think it's going to be good, other than the fact that I'm going to have to use the gamepad to actually precisely shoot. So it's not going to really feel like Star Fox to me. It's going to feel like another game, and I wish they would have gone another route instead. Like, give us an actual Star Fox game, because it's been so long since they've given us a traditional Star Fox game. That's all I want. It's not too much to ask, but apparently for Nintendo it is. Anyway, yeah. So as you can see, like there's a lot of things that I'm having trouble with as I'm going through this conference. Another remake, whoop-de-doo. I'm getting it anyway, but I'm just not super excited for it. All the Pokemon stuff I don't really care for. Animal Crossing Amiibo Festival seems really weird. And I don't want to pick it up right now unless once I see more stuff of it, maybe. Mario Tennis, not super jazzed about it. The Nintendo indie stuff, don't care for it. Star Fox Zero has problems. I'm not really enjoying this a lot yet. Then they showed Mario and Luigi Paper Jam, which is coming out January 22nd. I really like that a new game is coming out in January because it kind of like tides you over because there's usually nothing in January. So that's really awesome. Like there's nothing usually in January and February. It's just really dead months, kind of like in the summer months. But they do have that coming out. I'm not super excited for it, but it looks kind of fun because I've never played any of the Mario and Luigi RPG series. The only game that I have played is Super Mario RPG on the Super Nintendo. And that game's awesome. I wish that they would make a sequel to that, an actual sequel and not spiritual sequels, or spiritual successors, whatever you want to call it. And then when this is when everything just started to go crazy awesome. Final Fantasy Explorers is coming out January 26th, and this is like a Monster Hunter, World of Warcraft, Final Fantasy Bravely Default game. I really don't know how to explain it. It looks like that you can play it single player, but you also play co-op up to 4 players. Kind of like Monster Hunter. You have quests and you go around, and it's an action RPG, but there's a bunch of different classes, and then you have your specific jobs, or I guess there's a bunch of different, what was it? I think 20 jobs, and there's 4 specific classes within those jobs, like tank, healer, damage dealer, and support. So that's really cool. I love that idea. And then you can change it up and change your characters to wear different suits to make you look like Cloud, to make you look like Squall, to make you look like Tifa, to make you look like anyone from Final Fantasy. That's awesome too. I think I would probably try to create my own Final Fantasy character, but it's cool that I have the option of going back and creating one of these characters. And 4 players online. This just looks like so much fun. And there's a collector's edition coming out, and it looks freaking awesome. The art on that collector's edition looks fantastic, and I think there's an art book, a soundtrack. Geez, it just looked fantastic. I really want that collector's edition. I looked online right afterwards, and it's not up yet, but I really want to get that. I cannot wait. My girlfriend really wants to get this. Kevin from Team Beardage and Jason from Team Beardage also want to get it, so we're going to play. We already have our party for 4 players, so we're really looking forward to, I think we're all looking forward to this. The only one that we haven't talked to is Jason, but I assume he's going to like this, so I assume he's going to get it too. Right, Jason? Next up, they showed Fire Emblem Fates, Birthright and Conquest, and Revelations as well. This game is coming out February 19th. Once again, January has 2 awesome 3DS games, then we get Fire Emblem in February. This is going to be an awesome 2016. That beginning of the year is just going to, holy mac. If the rest of the year continues like this, I'm so excited for 2016. Hey, Zelda turns 30 next year. So do I. That's kind of cool. 2016, it's got to be a good year. Now, Fire Emblem. So Birthright and Conquest are kind of 2 different games. Think of it in the vein of like when they split Pokemon games, like blue version, red version. It's kind of like that. And then when you play it, or no, the Legend of Zelda, Oracle of Seasons and Ages. I think it's kind of like that. So you play one game, and then if you play the other game, it's different because it's on a different side, but you're essentially going in the same story path. And then eventually, so it's 2 different games. You can buy either one, and you can beat the game, and you'll probably be happy with the ending. But you can even then go play the other one, kind of go through the same storyline, but see different things that go on, get more information and detail into the story. And then eventually they're coming out with a download that comes out called Revelations. I think it's a download that comes out afterwards, which basically ties in everything and shows even more about what's going on. So I cannot wait for this. That is insane. So you can buy these 2. If you buy one on physical, or if you buy them both digitally, I know that if you buy one of them, the second one will be half off. So that's really cool. And I'm trying to figure out what I want to do. I have a pre-order for this, but I think my girlfriend's going to get it. Because originally when they announced this, it was just Fire Emblem Fates, and we didn't have the 2 games, so it looked like it was going to be all put together, which they did eventually come out with. Now they have Fire Emblem Fates Special Edition, which is Birthright, Conquest, and eventually Revelations added together, and it comes with like I think a 3DS case as well. So it's kind of like a little special edition. That's what it's called, like a collector's edition or limited edition, and that's what I want. I want to get all the games together right off the bat and just play a crazy amount of Fire Emblem. I cannot wait for this game. I think Fire Emblem Fates might be my most anticipated game of 2016 at the moment. I'm trying to think of what else I'm super excited for, like Final Fantasy Explorers now, but it's not at that level. Uncharted 4 I'm really looking forward to as well. Zelda Wii U, but I think Fire Emblem at the moment has everything beat, because this is just... I loved Awakening on the 3DS. Anyway, let's keep going. Next up, they showed Mega Man Legacy, just a little bit about that. Then they showed that the only thing that I cared about Pokemon was Pokemon Blue, Red, and Yellow are being released digitally on the 3DS on February 27th, which is apparently when Pokemon was originally released. That's kind of cool to go back and play those games on your 3DS and just have them on the go at any given moment. Next up, they showed Hyrule Warriors Legends. March 27th is when that's coming out. There's a lot of 3DS games coming out next year in 2016. A lot of big games. I'm not going to get it because I already have it on the Wii U, and it doesn't look as good on the 3DS as expected. I mean, it still looks good enough considering it's on a handheld, but there's a huge leap in difference, as there should be. It's just... I can tell the difference. So if I would have played on the 3DS and then the Wii U, then it would be different. But anyway... There's an extra character, and there's going to be extra stuff in it. It's like Hyrule Warriors Plus. Then they showed... they didn't even mention this, really, but Bravely Second is coming out in spring 2016. But they just showed nothing. They're like, oh yeah, Bravely Second is coming, and it's coming out spring 2016. Give me more! That's my girlfriend's most anticipated game for 2016. So she was really sad that they didn't have anything about it. But at least we know it's coming out in spring. So yeah, once again, still lots of 3DS games, and... then they had Dragon Quest VII is coming to 3DS in North America, summer 2016, and Dragon Quest VIII is also coming out in 2016. I'm assuming later, either fall or winter 2016. That's awesome. Those games are so expensive if you want to buy the physical releases. But I really want to play these games. I'm looking forward to them. My girlfriend's like, oh, that looks freaking awesome. She's like, you have to play the other Dragon Quests. And I'm like, no, it's kind of like Final Fantasy. You can kind of just dive in whenever you want into any installment. So she's looking forward to that too. So there's going to be a lot of RPGs that we're playing. And they ended it with Super Smash Brothers. Cloud is joining Super Smash Brothers. A lot of people love Super Smash Brothers, and I totally get that. I used to like Super Smash Brothers a lot when the new Wii U game came out. It's arguably the best version, but I just wasn't really... I played it when it first came out, and I just never went back to it really afterwards. And every time that they would have announcements and stuff, I was like, I'd take a look at it, and I'm like, I don't care. Doesn't matter. Whatever. I'm not going to download any of the new characters or whatever new maps. Didn't do anything for me. Cloud completely changed that. This is the first time that I am super excited. I think it's the music. I think a lot of it has to do with the music, and they showed like his Final Fantasy VII version and then his Advent Children version, and they had the music going, and then they had like the limit break thing, and it's just everything about it was just so freaking awesome. And the map too for Super Smash Brothers that is based off of Final Fantasy VII looks freaking awesome. So this is the first time in a long time that I'm actually super excited for Super Smash Brothers, and this is essentially what is going to bring me back to the game. But it looks freaking awesome. And as I said earlier, the only other amiibo that I would be interested in is hopefully they are going to make a Cloud Super Smash Brothers amiibo. That would be awesome. Not in specific, I wouldn't use it for the game, I don't think, but man, I would love to collect that. I would want to have that outside of the amiibo as it is, and like another one that's still sealed. I love Final Fantasy VII. Okay, that's pretty much it. Lots of RPGs coming out for the 3DS next year. Not really a lot for Wii U, as to be expected, I guess. The dying system. Nothing new really for the Wii U that was like big that I can see. And I guess we knew a little bit about some of these 3DS games, at least in Japan. And now we're just getting confirmation that how they're coming. Fire Emblem. Cannot wait for that. Like, that is the thing I'm looking forward to the most here. And I think after that, maybe Dragon Quest. Oh, Xenoblade Chronicles. But Fire Emblem is first, definitely. So let me know in the comments below what you're excited for. Are you excited for the amazing RPGs that are going to be coming out for the 3DS next year? Oh boy, it's going to be awesome. So anyway, thank you all for watching. You've been bearded in.
beardage.